the mana can be kind of tough. Now, Phil's deck obviously does not have that issue. He's running 19 Swamps. He's got 3 Buried Ruin. This gets back Solemn Simulacrum, and it also gets back
Worm Coils.
Worm Coils. The Sphere of the Suns just don't really end up in the graveyard very often, so that's not really a thing.
Also,
but it gets
Pristine Talisman, Batterskull, those are also available in case
they get blown up somehow.
Right.
Yeah, and then he's also got 3 Cavernous Souls, and that's just basically because he can.
Yeah,
you know, his creatures are all
not?
black anyway, but there's like very low downside because the deck always has enough swamps. Now, when I say always, I mean, you know, assuming a normal start. Now, Phil, unfortunately, is going down to 5 here, so it could be a little bit tougher. But really, his deck can be explosive. Like, you can just go, you know, Sphere of the Suns, Simulacrum, Grave Titan, and a lot of these decks just fold to that. You know, when they're trying to pay 4 mana to blink this thing and grind that thing out and do that, you know, when you just make a 6/6 Death Touch with 2 buddies and there's more on the way, you know, sometimes that's all you need.
Yeah, Pristine Talisman seems to be doing a lot of work, especially when he gets more than one on board against some of these decks that just are kind of attacking with. We saw him actually face against an Esper mid-range deck earlier on, and you know, his opponent's like Lingering Souls, and it's just like, I have 2 Pristine Talismans.
Yeah.
I don't care.
Right. I think this is going to go back as well. Yeah. He had like a no-lander there.
Wow. This is not looking good for Phil.
No. Now, I think the matchup favors him in general. So, you know, he can bounce back from a tough beat like this of having to mulligan to 4 in the first game. Was he ahead in the Swiss pairings? Did he get to choose to draw to play or draw?
I believe near the. I mean, I didn't see the actual final standing.
I don't think I did either. But if he's on the play, then that makes it a little bit tougher. His deck can use that extra card and get caught back up on mana through the acceleration.
So you're saying he'd rather be on the draw, or you'd rather he be on the play?
Well, after I've mulled to 4, I'd probably rather be on the draw.
Okay,
but I'd rather just be on the play normally.
Okay, he's on the draw here. He actually was, I believe, Phillip was around 6th or 7th. So Dustin
okay, because he had the
second
2
place.
draws. Okay,
he was in 7th. Okay, I was right about that. Okay.
Well.
Yeah, that's not great either. I mean, it's another no-lander. That's just rough. I mean, I don't know what you can do.
Is that just a straight-up no-lander here?
I believe so. I don't see anything. Is that like
Karn, Black Sun, Zenith?
There's a land. All right, so.
He points at it and says, "Go." It was funny. I got a chance to watch one of Phillip's matches, and he's kind of an interesting guy. He's a little older. He kind of looks like maybe like a truck driver, or like he's got a kind of like a beard, and he's kind of a grizzly guy. And talked to a couple. He hit another land here, yeah. And they said that he always plays mono black. Like this is his deck.
It says on his player stats here, occupation mono black control Brewmeister. So he's
that's what he put?
He does. Yeah, his archetype big black.
Yeah, I think that's a good name for it. I think that's a really good name for it because it does just go very big.
So Dustin,
Blade Splicer.
After getting in with Thalia, and Dustin with a pretty standard start here for the Neopod list. No access to red besides that bird at the moment.
Batterskull. Yeah, this is going to be really tough because we see he has a Pristine Talisman in hand, but he can't cast that till turn 4 as the board sits.
Yeah.
Like, he's going to have a hard time.
If he draws the land.
If he draws land. Yeah,
well,
I didn't mean turn 4. I meant 4 lands. Yeah.
Right.
Four,
I'm sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, he's already missed a land drop or 2.
So here he is getting a hit for 6, and it looks like 1, 2, 3, 4. Here comes Mikaeus.
All right, this should be over quite quickly, I'd think, mainly because of Thalia. Like, ideally he draws a land, he has a Doomblade, he kills Thalia, then he untaps, and then he's just like dead by that point.
Yeah,
he's just taking too much damage here, so I think he's drawn a increasing ambition, maybe. He's just counting it up. It's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It's 10 damage if he just uses the Mikaeus the Lunarch here. Putting Phillip to 2 and really leaving him with no outs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Goes with a Geist Honored Monk.
Sure.
I mean, why even?
I mean,
point,
yeah,
yeah.
I think you just hit him for 10 here, but whatever. He's still hitting him for 9. You know. 9.
Yeah, it's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
I like that Phil's, being thorough here, though. He's not rushing anything.
Yeah, that's true. He's
I don't know how many. He shows him his hand. I don't think I would do that.
well, Dustin knows his list, and this is just
these
his,
these are publicly known.
yeah, these are
to
public
the,
list at this
other
point.
listener? Ah,
yeah, so
okay.
he knows that he's seen Phillip's list. Phillip has
Even
seen
then,
Dustin's
man.
list.
I mean, do you trust the other guy to have memorized your list? Like sometimes people are just lazy. They don't.
That's
look.
true. I mean, I don't know that I show him. That's a good point.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's,
But it's
as
not a
big of a
big
deal.
deal.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
Now, obviously, if it was like post board, I think, and like, oh, good, you get to see my sideboard cards.
Now that's one of the weaknesses that Phil's deck has,
Mm-hmm.
is that he doesn't have. Hi.
Hey guys. Good.
He doesn't have that many options in his sideboard because he is monocolored. So like a lot of the
Right.
things overlap with what he's already doing.
Yeah,
we
just
see
additional.
A curse, yeah, we see a Curse of Death Soul, a Black Sun Zenith. These are things that his deck does well already. A couple of Distress, I don't know, like I guess that's for Planeswalkers because this deck has a tough time with them. An additional Go for the Throat. Again, this is all doing what he already did. He's got 3 Nile Spellbomb. That counts. That hits something specific. It's a nice narrow card for him. Hex Parasite, like again, he knows I'm sure he put
It's
that in
for
as a nod to
Planeswalkers,
Planeswalkers. Yep. 2 Ratchet Bomb because there's nothing else. A couple of Spell Skites and a Mimic Vat just seem kind of like filler. I mean, the Mimic Vat can do a lot of work.
Yeah, I mean that interaction with undying creatures, right? You can exile them as they go away. So that's a nice way to deal with it. Like, hey, I have a Mimic that in play. Now my Doomblades actually deal with your undying guys.
Right, and you get the creature. I mean,
and that too, right?
Yeah.
Not only that, but you just exile the thing. So, as any of you who usually watch us already knows, we do a little giveaway here in the top 8. So what we're going to do, we're going to ask you guys a question. You guys tweet the answer to with the hashtag SCG Premium there underneath my name there, SCG Premium. You tweet your answer. You just looked at it down there.
You made me. Yeah, I see that.
So
sorry.
we have the little monitor down that way.
Yeah.
But so you tweet the answer, SCG Premium hashtag, and the winner, the one random correct answer, will get 3 months of free Star City Premium. Tomorrow morning during the semifinals, we'll have another giveaway. We'll be giving away 6 months of premium. And then again during the finals, we'll be giving away a Gen Con badge. So right now, just one question for tonight. 3 months of premium. 3 months from now, we're gonna be all up in Return to Ravnica.
Oh, for sure.
It's gonna be pretty exciting.
M13 will be nothing but a little blip on our radar.
Yeah, just like we'll
it's
pass
crazy how that goes. Because right now I'm like M13.
Exactly. Yeah. And speaking of M13. So we've got some pretty cool new cards that have already been officially spoiled or officially previewed, and I believe I talked to Trick
in
Jarrett
the card gallery.
In the card image gallery.
Card
right?
image gallery.
We're
using all our official Wizards terms.
Official terminology.
I know these ones. Yeah.
Yeah. So I was talking to some of the Wizards employees. The full preview gallery, full visual
card image gallery.
Visual.
Don't use that word.
Don't use spoiler.
Yeah. No.
Anyway, the full one apparently goes up this week on Monday, I believe.
That's big news
cool.
for me.
But there is a card that has already been previewed. I think it fits perfectly into Phil Johnson's deck. It's a certain Planeswalker.
Mm-hmm.
So what new M13 Planeswalker seems like a perfect fit for Phil Johnson's deck? And we want the full Planeswalker's name, okay? Not just a one word. We want the full name. So
you might have to Google it.
Yeah, I mean you can go look at the card image gallery. You can look at the Star City Games page. I believe this particular card is already up for pre-sale. So not only can you find out the answer to the trivia question, you can go ahead and pre-order. Because I mean, if this is a deck you're excited about, this Planeswalker's a card you're probably going to want.
Yeah.
So, I know I initially kind of scoffed when I saw it, but I'm kind of coming around.
Are you coming around?
I'm coming around.
I'm not. I'm still scoffing.
Yeah.
I'm still in
Well,
Scott
see,
mode.
I think what it is, and I said this actually on In Contention. We were talking about this card, and I said,
I listened to this, by the way.
You know what I'm about to say?
I do, yeah.
I am always so excited for Planeswalkers and disappointed. I'm like, oh, I thought Venser was going to be huge, and he's just, kind of shows up here and there, and and I get very excited for Planeswalkers, and then they don't. They don't perform
impact.
the way that I expect them to, and so I'm disappointed. So this time around, I'm like, well, I'm just going to look at this and say, it's bad, and hope to be disappointed again this time.
I like the reverse.
Or the other way,
yeah.
So we're going to go back to the match here.
All right, looks like the match has
we
begun.
have one swamp in play for Phillip Johnson. So already a good start. I believe he actually has 6 cards in hand too.
He does.
Not counting the swamp. So.
Swamp number 2 comes down, and this can only be a Sphere of the Suns.
There it is.
Oh, no, it could have actually been a Doomblader Go for the Throat.
Oh, yeah.
Which would have been
right.
a fine play as well. But
so, yeah, both kept 7 cards. Dustin on a Avacyn's Pilgrim.
not that scary.
No.
I think that against this deck, well, so normally it is, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's normally a card you have to give a lot of respect to, but I think Phil's plan is sweep them all away, and that's just another one that's going to get caught up in the sweeps.
Yeah.
Wow, that is not an impressive start for Dustin.
Dustin goes turn 2
birthing
bird.
pod. Yeah, nothing. Looks like a lot of lands on Phil's side, but his deck doesn't mind that.
Yeah, exactly. He wants to just, because he knows he's got the bombs.
Yeah, and and Naya, there's no mana leaks there.
Right, exactly. He knows those bombs
just
bombs
hit
resolve.
something big and it's gonna stick. Yeah, and there's not that many mana leaks in the field either. A lot of those mid-range decks are running like 2.
Just 2, yeah.
Just to keep them honest. All right, so again,
Hey,
Phil just says, you know what? I think I'd rather take 2 cards, 2 mana sources out of your hand for one of mine, and you shuffle that thing back in. Already he's starting to get ahead.
Yeah, sweeps the board away. Completely did away with Dustin's first 2 turns.
Mm-hmm. Also took him off of white mana.
Yeah.
This could be big. Like if
be
Dustin
very
misses a
relevant.
land drop here, this is a big, big game for Phil.
That was a Black Sun for 1.
Did anybody get the answer right?
A couple people did.
All right, so he does actually have a white source with a Cavern of Souls, and he's going to use it to cast a Blade Splicer. So the Cavern it's named human. It has to have named human.
Right,
Otherwise
to be
he
able to
couldn't even
cast the
cast
white.
it.
Yeah, exactly. That's his only access to white
Right.
at this point. And
Right,
so
4
Phillip
mana for a
taps
Solemn.
4.
Yep,
Yeah.
Solemn it is. Trigger. We saw Phil in his first feature match. I think he was a little nervous, and we saw him miss a trigger here and there. But when I watched him play out of the feature match area, I was able to I just sort of stood there and watched him play. He had a big crowd around him. People are really into this deck.
Yeah.
And I thought he played really well. Like he was clean. He didn't miss any triggers. He had his pristine talismans. He got his life every time. He was very deliberate with it. So I think that he's actually quite used to this deck.
Yeah, I think it was just one of those nervous mistakes. And
I would block. Yeah, cash
Yeah.
it in. This is actually,
Fine.
Solemn's one of the main, and he also said, look, trigger, draw a card. I think the Solemn's one of the main draw engines. What is that?
is that a Zenith? I thought it was a Zenith.
I don't know.
It's hard to tell.
And
So,
Thalia comes down. That
okay.
card's very annoying, but he has so much mana now that it probably won't matter that much. He's got 4 cards in hand. I'm sure his opponent asked him.
Yeah. Draws for the turn.
And there's a
He's
pristine talisman.
talisman.
Now that's going to cost 4.
Yeah.
But if he has because I know he's got at least another swamp in there, right?
I believe so. He had a
There it is.
glut
no,
of
that's
lands.
actually
Bird Ruin.
actually a much more relevant card.
At this point, yeah, he can get that Solemn back.
And he can cast
And
it this
recast
turn.
it, yeah.
Yeah. So I see Talisman. Looks like he's going to Zenith.
Oh, he's going to Zenith. Okay.
Yeah, I like that play. And you were right, that was a Zenith. So 1, 2, he's Zenithing for 3. Actually, he's just doing it for the full 4. Like, he's just not messing around. I don't see like a big difference, but I guess he knew he wasn't going to do anything else. The only downside is that he does have to lose a counter off of his Sphere of the Suns there.
Yeah, I'm actually surprised he did that for 4.
Yeah, three
considering
seems
he's going to lose a counter from the Sphere.
Yeah.
If that was a pristine talisman, like sure, why I tap it because you're gonna gain the life anyway, whatever.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, he had to pay 1 extra for Thalia, but even then he had an extra mana to
yeah.
spare.
I don't
likely
think
won't
it's
be a
that
huge
relevant,
deal.
yeah.
No, but it's one of those little things that can come back.
Right.
His deck has big,
It was
expensive
an
stuff.
accidentally overpaid kind of thing. Okay.
Okay.
But yeah, that was the word from the judge. So Wolfear Silverheart from Dustin, and
But
that's
it.
a 5-mana 4/4.
Yeah, which is unexciting. There is also a Gavany Township.
Just drew another Zenith.
Oh, sick.
I'm pretty sure
he did.
He
Yeah.
just top deck Zenith again.
Yeah, so now I guess you just do it again.
Yeah, I mean, I'll just do this every turn.
Like, hey, I'll be the guy. And he needs to do it now because he can't wait for counters to start getting on or for another creature to hit the battlefield, and all of a sudden it's an 8/8 because then Zenith doesn't do a whole lot.
Yeah, I mean,
If he
unless
can,
he has something else way more exciting to do, I'm just going ahead and going with the
well,
Zenith.
like if he had a Doomblade here.
He doesn't have to pay extra for, but this is a 4/4, so,
So
it's
can he
going to cost
Zenith,
him 6,
or excuse
right?
me, can he Pristine Talisman and then Zenith for 4?
Doesn't look like it. Oh, wait a minute. No.
He's not bothering if he can. Yeah. He could.
He could have. Yeah, he could have Zenith for 4 there. It would cost him 6, right? He would tap 3 for the Talisman.
2, 3, 4. Yes,
He's
and it looks like he's
going
to do it now.
1, 2, 3, Talisman. Talisman adds 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Yep. So look, he's doing the mana, doing the math. He's thinking it through, and he's going to get an extra life and accelerate his mana. This is an important thing.
All right,
so he goes ahead and plays it, and now Zenith.
1, 2, 3,
get
4, 5,
that
6.
wolf out of here.
And
gains a life.
gain a life.
Do you see how he?
Yeah.
You know, he's
on
on
top
top of
pretty.
this stuff.
And I noticed that earlier when he was tapping his Talisman, he like never missed that.
No, I think he might really like that Talisman because he's very aware of it.
So Zenith again.
Yeah, and you know that's one thing that you need to do with these decks sometimes. It's just 1 for 1 with the Zenith. It's tempting to get a little greedy sometimes,
right.
But in a situation like this where your opponent clearly is kind of doing the 1 threat or nothing per turn plan, then you just need to just 1 for 1 it before the thing gets out of hand. All right, a Borderland Ranger, not a big deal. Probably going to get a Plains.
And there it is. Yep.
So Borderland Ranger, you know, it can get a little bigger, it can do some things, but it's just not threatening him right now. Phil's sitting at 20. What Phil needs to do is start digging through his deck and trying to get big threats. He wants Karn, you know, he wants a Wormcoil Engine or a Grave Titan. Like these are the things that he wants to hit.
I'm thinking, what does he have in hand? I don't think it was.
I think he has another Pristine Talisman.
Yeah, I didn't think it was anything big and threatening. So if the top of the deck doesn't have anything like that, we're going to see the Solemn come back into play.
Yeah, I
don't
think
know what
he
he
drew a Swamp. Maybe I can't. It's probably another Black Sun Zenith. I mean, what else would it be?
I mean, as he just draws mono Zenith.
Yeah. I mean, he wouldn't use it in this case. I don't think, but.
Yeah, I mean, he can put the. So 1, 2, 3.
Crack this.
Crack
Tells
this.
very
so here comes
communicative here.
Solemn Simulacrum.
Yep.
Yeah, you want to read Buried Ruin? Go ahead. Meanwhile, I'm going to cast
he
Solemn
got it,
Simulacrum. Oh, pretty simple. Add a colorless, tap 2 and tap it and sacrifice it. Return target artifact card from your graveyard to your hand. So.
Yeah, I mean, he doesn't have any other plays. Just play your Swamp and slam a Solemn here. 3. Oh, so he's gonna play the thing and then play the thing. So he's being patient and working through.
Gain another life. Gain another life.
And you know, you mentioned this a minute ago. When he gets multiples going, it can really add up.
Yeah, I mean, those talismans negate Borderland Ranger entirely. I mean, obviously Dustin got the Plains, which is why he played Borderland Ranger to get the land off of it. So, but I mean, as far as Borderland Ranger goes right now, unless he can pair it with something like Wolfear Silverheart, it's you know, he can attack and every turn it's just those attacks are negated entirely.
Yeah.
Another thing, I was talking about this in between. Like he's got a lot of life gain in this deck. He's got the Talismans. He's got Wormcoil Engine. He's got Batterskull. He's got Gristlebrand.
Yes.
And all that life helps out with the Gristlebrand, right? So,
it does.
I mean, he could have Gristlebrand right now and just be like, I'll just go to 15 and.
All right, so cut the deck, trigger.
Sweet.
Yeah, you can tell that Phil was concerned about life gain. I don't know. Like Wormcoil Engine in this format's like not necessarily the best. It does tend to get bounced somewhat often. That's never fun. All right, so he has 2 cards in his hand now. He's just freshly drawn them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 6. This looks like Karn. No. Is that 8? Do it.
1, 2, 3, 4,
oh
5,
God, do it.
6, 7, 8. It looks like 8.
Grizzlebrand me. Yes!
Griselbrand.
Griselbrand. I'm holding one in my hand. Wow. What do you do
We're
now?
participating at home. It's just like,
So
everybody at home, grab your Griselbrand.
So you just insta-draw 21 cards here, right? That's how this works?
That's how this works, yeah. Exactly, against a deck that has access to burn, sure.
So he doesn't have any extra mana left over. I mean, he's got 3, but nothing like significant, so he doesn't want to cash in Griselbrand on his turn. He's just going to wait.
Yeah.
Okay, so one card I'm thinking of. Zealous Conscripts.
Oh, okay.
That's the card I was thinking of.
So you respond by drawing 7.
You definitely draw 7 because that opens you up to like Doomblade and stuff, although doesn't do a whole lot to the board state. Like, you're going to get hit here. But like, Dustin can refill his hand, but you get Griselbrand back. Like, he doesn't currently have a way to get rid of it. Oh my God, Griselbrand. I thought this wasn't going to happen till tomorrow.
Yeah, I know. Griselbrand, you're early.
What is Griselbrand doing here? So what Phillip's doing is he's looking at the situation, and he's going to take 13 damage on the swing here. So, you know, if he draws 7, he's going to go down to 7. So he's got to be careful.
Yeah, that's fair.
7, 10, 11, 12, 13. But I think it is worth it to draw 7 here because you can draw like a Doomblade and kill the conscripts and take less damage. And you're going to do it at some point anyway. It's not like you're not going to draw. Oh, God, do it. Yeah. 2, 3,
4, 5, 6, 7.
So many cards.
I love it.
Oh, so good.
This monkey's gone to heaven.
And there is a Black Sun Zenith.
Doesn't deal with the
No. It'll help out later.
I'm like, is there anything that he can do that's just like that we're not thinking of besides just like, hey, Doomblade your conscripts or something, you know, like
instant speed stuff isn't this deck's forte.
Right.
It doesn't run a ton of instant speed things, so I don't think so. But Doomblading the conscripts matters here.
Yeah, I mean it's 3.
It's 3 damage, and you know that equals cards for him on the other end. Although, you know, with only 2 mana left for Dustin, he's going to get to draw 7, maybe 14. Like, if he's running Celestial Purge in his deck, he will probably just go for the full 14 and just gamble it, because then he can get rid of Griselbrand.
Right.
And that would be huge.
So it looks like Phillip did not see a way to deal with the conscripts. I believe he just dropped.
Yeah, because I think if he had it, he would use it. Like, under normal circumstances, you might just take the damage and then just, because like you have a Black Sun Zenith or something. Oh, and now he's drawing 7.
Why is Phillip at 4?
4 is not right. That's 7, 10, 13 that he took.
Yeah, and he was at 17.
Oh, he was at 17? Oh, because he activated Griselbrand. Right. Remember, like I said, he's going to use it once, but he can't use it twice.
We were counting it from the...
Right, when he was at 24. So, yep, that makes sense. But I mean, theoretically, he's going to get to untap with Griselbrand and hit. He's going to go to 11. He can draw 7 more. He can, you know, infinitely wipe the board here. Like, he's got a ton of options. 1, 2, 3. Another creature is, okay, it's a Birthing Pot, but he doesn't have the mana.
Yeah, he cannot Birthing Pot away.
He cannot Birthing Pot away Griselbrand. That was a play that he never had here.
Yeah, I don't think he has access to a 9 mana creature in his deck anyway.
Well, you can fail to find.
So you were just saying to get rid of the
Griselbrand. To kill it.
Yeah, okay.
One thing of note here is that Phillip is he's going to gain 2 life this turn for sure. Oh, there's a go for the throw. Next card, of course.
Right.
He's also can get his Solemn back this turn as an extra blocker, just like
I mean he can just gain 7 and stop drawing cards. He
can gain 9 this turn.
Oh, you're right. He can gain 9. He's fine.
Yeah. So he has a grip full of stuff.
Right. So he can.
Griselbrand.
He's fine right now. Like that. That seemed frightening for a second, but all right. Up to 11, up to 13 off the talismans, you know.
But he needs to wipe the board here. Like, he cannot leave creatures. Like, if Dustin's able to
start potting,
like, he'll hit. I mean, does he have another conscripts? You know, these kind of things are the questions that Phil needs to ask himself. A lot of options. He's got like 10 cards in hand.
How many conscripts does he? Okay, he does run 2 in the 75, so very likely that he has the second one.
I think so too. I mean,
he can't pod into the conscripts unless he gets a 4-drop first, though.
But he can, you know, begin the chain.
Yeah. So Griselbrand, now both players at 11. Phillip Johnson, I mean, he has access to at least the Go for the Throat we know of. There's a Sever the Bloodline. Plays a Swamp,
so he can kill both creatures on board.
Yeah.
But I think he wants to save the Go for the Throat, maybe, because he can kill whatever gets potted into that way.
So he's got, looks like he's tapping 5 here.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I mean, he's got a handful of awesome spells. I mean,
he just drew a ton of stuff.
He's got
right?
like 10 cards in his hand or something. So it's just a matter of deciding how to not die. All right, so he is okay.
He's wiping Dustin's side of the board, keeping his Griselbrand.
He's going to keep Griselbrand, but Griselbrand's going to be gaining significantly less life there. He's going to be gaining 4.
But again, he has 2 pristine talismans in play, so it's actually sort of balancing that back out. I mean, it's not the best situation, but I mean, do you really want to wipe your own? I mean, was he going to Zenith for 7 there?
No. I just wonder, like, if he has a couple of spot removal spells, if he just uses those. But this seems fine. This seems fine.
I mean, in this case, now he's still
greedy.
got 2 spot removal spells in his hand that we know of. I believe he has Sever, so that's 2.
Yeah.
We know he has Go for the. It looks he has double Go, Sever is what I see. And then 4 other cards that I have no idea what they are, but they look very artifacty.
Yeah, this is insane.
So he could potentially just cast a Wormcoil Engine here or something, and
you know, like, to me right now,
that's another ton of cards.
Phil is like a pillar of restraint to me.
Yeah, you're just like slamming
I'm, like,
the cards.
Drawing cards, like my hand is like, I'm just like, can I kill myself just to draw 7 more, Judge?
Right,
and he's like, sure, I'll do that then. All right, so just a sphere. Okay, he's gonna see a sphere here. I mean, you know, it's funny because normally at this stage of the game, you'd think that having extra mana isn't really relevant, but it actually is when you have 100 cards in your hand. You know, like you can
and
like
all your cards are huge.
And all your cards are massive. So.
How many cards in hand? 7. I mean, full grip.
Look at Griselbrand. He's happy. So, you know, of relevant note here, Dustin also drew 7.
Yeah.
Like, he
but
has
did
a
not
grip
find
himself.
a Celestial Purge. Did he not play Celestial Purge?
Yeah, I actually didn't look. We should look.
Yeah, he doesn't play Celestial Purge.
So he just didn't have
I was assuming, that he did.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. I guess he's saving those for tomorrow in Legacy against Griselbrand.
There you go.
I mean, nobody plays Griselbrand.
You know, I should have
standard.
Phil sign my Griselbrand for me.
That'd be pretty awesome.
Like, I don't care what the outcome is at this point as far as, like, historically. Like, I'm so happy right now.
Yeah, I mean, I think so many players, like Phillip Johnson has inspired so many players watching this coverage, and players that are going to hear about this and now going to play against this deck at FNM and whatever. Like, this is awesome.
You know what the funny part is? I'm not even one of those mono black control guys. Like, I don't get excited.
We were
for
talking
those
about
cards,
this earlier, but
I'm just not even like that into it. But this gets me going, man.
Yeah.
All right, so Birthing Pod. What? Okay, so he's asking a question. It looks like, but Restoration Angel's coming down. He's gonna
pod into conscripts.
Into conscripts. So what does he want? More cards? It's not lethal. It would only be 7 damage. He can draw 7, but he goes to 2 and then he's dead.
Yeah, that's.
I don't know what's going to happen here. He can also now, if he has a relevant 6-drop, he can target his Birthing Pod with the conscripts.
He's gonna go for the throat on his own Griselbrand.
What? That is blasphemous.
Did he? Did it not look like he pointed at Griselbrand?
It did.
There's a lot of pointing with go for. He's like, I'm going to target both.
There's
Is
some
that cool?
confusion here. That looked a little bit, yeah. So I think that he changed his mind, but they're like, no, sir. So I'm assuming then that the conscripts did target Griselbrand. Did we see that the zombie player is?
Yeah. Also, yeah.
2-0?
It looks to me like was it Glenn Ray who was playing Zombie Pod has moved on to the early morning Magic for tomorrow, the semifinals. Glenn Ray.
How do you do that?
2-0. Nathan Anderson also 2-0 with his red-green aggro list. So we got this guy in the top 4, and we've got
Joey.
Yes.
I'm sad.
What just happened?
Well, Grizzlebrand's gone now.
I'm sad too. He just has to
Don't
play on
understand.
burial rights.
I just don't get this. Like, why did he die?
Well, he did a lot. He drew a lot of cards.
I mean,
for
I would
both
have drawn
players.
more. There's always more, right?
And Dustin, I mean, he's knocked Phillip to 10. Phillip's gonna be able to just gain some two of that back.
I don't know how many cards Dustin has left. It looks like 5 or 6. And we see a decent grip here for
got the
Phil,
perpetual Black Suns in his hand.
He does, but like he's actually just not in that great of a spot here. Like he needs to have some big threat. Like a Karn would be fine. 1, 2, 3, 4. He could like Karn and Black Sun Zenith. You know, he could Karn away the Birthing Pod and Black Sun Zenith the board. That would be nice. Looks like he's just going to start with a Zenith here, though.
Yeah, Zenith for 3.
Zenith for 3, wipe the board. This is going to prevent Dustin from getting to use his Gavany Township. So, you know, it's just like the cheapest he's going to pay for this Zenith to wipe the board. So he's just like, let's just get this stuff out of here.
Wormcoil.
Okay, Wormcoil Engine. Now we're talking. That is a card that can make short work of Dustin, and it's also just very difficult to deal with, right?
Yes. I mean, he can't Vapor Snag it, right?
Yeah. So let's see what Dustin can do here. This deck has a lot of creative ways to deal a bunch of damage. It can kind of put a bunch of creatures on the battlefield in a very quick amount of time. I mean, he probably has a lot of options. The guy has 7 cards in his hand. Like,
yeah, it's interesting because when I think of both of these decks, I look at both of them and I go, okay, what am I most afraid of from Phil Johnson? I'm looking and I'm going Grizzlebrand, right? And then what am I most afraid of from Dustin? It's Zealous Conscripts. Now both players have weathered the largest storm.
Yeah, and they're both in the graveyard.
Yeah. So at this point now, like, it's like kind of a more fair kind of game.
Yeah, I think so. Now, I think that this game state certainly
favors Phil.
Favors Phil. It does, but that doesn't mean that Dustin's out. Like having a birthing pod active is a big deal. Like you know, he has free will here. He's got a lot of mana. He's got a lot of creatures. He can do what he needs to do.
Yeah, he just potted a Thalia into a Blade Splicer. Has now 2 guys instead of just 1.
Yeah. And I mean, right there, if he activates his township, that's 5 power and toughness right there.
Yeah. Now,
unfortunately, 5 is 1 less than 6, which is really what he needs it to be. 3, 4. It's 6. Yeah,
it is 6. Yeah.
Thanks, Glenn. He holds up 6, and I'm like, what is he doing? Oh, right. He's smarter than me. I keep forgetting that.
But
yeah, so he can actually trade it off for the Wormcoil Engine if he wants. I mean,
I think
this is a slow process for him.
Phillip just did the math there too.
Yeah,
like
I think that's
1,
a fine
2, 3,
deal,
4, 5,
though,
6.
right?
Yeah.
You still do it.
You get 2 Yo MTG Taps tokens into play. Worm tokens. I guess.
We saw some other ones earlier. You were. I don't know.
Where I was. When
I don't want to tell you. Well, I'll tell you off the air. It's like it's pretty devastating. Why are we doing that one?
So he's going to use Sever the Bloodline.
Oh no.
Gee.
Yeah. So you actually have to sever the Golem token there for this reason, that the Restoration Angel can't save it.
Yeah, that was.
So that was a mistake for sure.
Well, he's like, what if I flash it back?
Yeah. Yeah, he's just going to have to flash it back and take out both golems here and then just attack.
Does he not have another? Now, did he take away the opportunity to use Gavany Townships?
Yes,
that's good. So
he did. He took that away. So he is going to get like a full-on crack-in with this Wormcoil Engine. The thing is, though, is that Dustin is going to untap with creatures. Like, the pod chain will continue.
Yeah.
I don't know where it goes. Like, I'm not sure exactly what Dustin's, most high-end. There's Geist Honored Monks.
Yeah, we haven't seen those yet. We've seen both conscripts already spent.
Yeah, and those are his only 5s, right?
I'm looking.
I see a Metamorph floating around. That might not be in there anymore, but it might be. That, the Wormcoil Engine is a fine target for that.
Yeah. He
can theoretically turn the Blade Splicer into that.
Is he just gonna Black Suns?
Are we just Zenithing here?
I mean, the odd thing is Phillip ends up on the good side of that deal where Dustin has no guys and Phillip has 2 guys again. Yeah. And you can Buried Ruin the
I mean, I think you just attack first, though, right? I mean, I guess it's just a double strike block, so I guess you can't if this is your plan. All right.
So how much was that for?
It was for 5.
So
It was for 4. So he does get to hit.
I think I would have rather had the engine die in an odd way, like because you can now Buried Ruin and get it back. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. I think you're right. Now,
So he's got what, a 2/2 lifelinker? Like, I
2/2
know
lifelinker. It'll die
fine,
eventually.
yeah.
Now, but it is still death touch, like so it'll trade up for something probably. Also, you know, he did carefully leave mana up so that he can Buried Ruin now. Now, I think he only has a Solemn that he can get out of it, but like.
If the Worm Coil,
keep it moving, yeah, and then if the Worm Coil happens to die as well, which I don't think there's a chance it'll die in
not here.
Dustin's turn, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is probably a Huntmaster. It is. Gain a couple of life. Dustin is not going to give this one up. He is in battle mode here. I mean, he is attempting to outcard Grizzlebrand, although he did have his own shot at Grizzlebrand.
Yeah, he did. So, I mean, how many times did Phillip activate Grizzlebrand? Twice total, or just once?
Just once.
Okay, so both players got the same out of Grizzlebrand.
Yeah.
So, Birds of Paradise from Dustin.
Okay.
He is populating the board here.
I don't know that I would have played that. Like, now he can't activate his township unless he's just going to crack it in. Oh, he's just going to cash it in.
Yeah, yeah. So it looks
so
like.
Why is he leaving 3 mana up? Like, why did he take damage there?
It's a good question. He must have something in mind.
Yeah, what do we
maybe
think?
he has a Blade Splicer in hand.
He's just going to do the old hand dump here. All right, that is a promotional
Strangleroot
Geist. Yep.
Nick Harlow now into the top 8 at 2-1.
Well, he's been in the top 8.
I mean, I'm sorry, the top 4.
There you go.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
He's also in the top 8.
Okay, we have an attack.
Strangleroot Geist.
Yeah. Now Phil, though, in the midst of all these shenanigans and stuff, he had stabilized pretty firmly at 16 life. This is going to bring him back down to 14.
So we know 3 of the 4 players in the top 8, or top 4, already, and the final slot is up for grabs between Phillip Johnson and Dustin Whelan here in the quarterfinals of the standard portion of StarCityGames.com Seattle. Phillip Johnson with a 2/2 lifelink Worm Coil engine. Not something you see very often.
It's cute.
It is. Oh, look at a little Worm Coil.
1, 2, 3, 4. Gain 2 life. Oh, is he forgetting it this time? I think he forgot this time. Another Restoration Angel. Oh. Phillip just keeps running into this. Did he let him gain the life? I think they let that one slide a little bit.
Yeah, okay. I mean, that's a little bit, he's like tapping, announcing the spell, I guess is, you know.
So Dustin now has 1,000 creatures again. And once again, Phil needs to sweep the board here.
He just tapped everything. He's going to flash back.
On the Angel.
On the Angel, okay.
He just doesn't want that Angel there anymore. I mean, he can just leave his Worm Coil back this way, but, you know, that being said, Dustin does have an active birthing pod. I mean, we need to see a Karn or something here from Phil. Or he overpaid a little bit there. He untapped one. Happens to be the Buried Ruin. Seems relevant.
Yeah.
I mean, realistically, there's a decent chance that Worm Coil dies this turn, so. But if it does, I think Phil will be pretty happy.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, he's just kind of like, I'd like to recast this Worm Coil engine, please. I'd like
Trade it off for something.
I'd like to buy a vowel.
Who are you?
I don't know. I don't know the things I say.
Is this when you get loopy? Are we at loopy
I'll
o'clock?
be responsible for the things I say at this point in the day.
Yeah, it's not like they're recorded and disseminated to thousands of people. All right,
there's a Blade Splicer from
Blade
Dustin.
Splicer. Hey, you got through that sentence.
It was all right, yeah. I wrote it down before I said it.
All right. So again, we see Dustin with 100 creatures on board, and he is going to now be able to activate his township. Can he do it twice? 1, 2, 3, 4. No.
So he's going to go ahead and Philip's going to trade the Worm Coil for the Strangleroot Geist, or at least attempt to. He's one way or another, that Worm Coil engine's going to get back into Phillip's hand, I think.
He definitely wants to be able to just recast that worm coil. He's kind of hanging on to it here now. You know, I know Phil has another Sever in the graveyard, so he can take out the wolves, you know, which is a reasonable 2-for-1 here. But this board state's going to get out of control very quickly in Dustin's favor.
Phillip needs to draw like his 7th Black Sun Zenith.
Yeah, I mean, they've all been shuffled in. Like nothing's been countered here, discarded.
They're all still. I mean, how many he
has 3 in the main and 1 in the board.
Yeah, very likely that he actually has all 4.
It would make a lot of sense to have all 4. So he's definitely drawing life. I mean, look how many lands he's peeled out of his deck here. Quite a few. So that one
a
goes
1
away,
and a 2 and a Buried Ruin, and get my worm coil back and start this process all over again.
He can flashback Sever and play worm coil.
I love that he.
Was there no spells cast that turn? So much stuff happened.
Blade Splicer.
I mean,
he potted in the Blade Splicer.
What did he pot away? Oh, the Strangler guy.
Yeah.
Right? Okay. He spent all of his mana almost.
And you're like, how did he do? Oh, yeah, that's how that interaction is awesome.
Count. All right, so I see a Solemn. We know he has a Worm Coil. I don't know the other 2 cards.
Yeah, still not very obvious. They all look like artifacts.
They do.
So we know.
They could be Ratchet Bombs. That would be actually quite good here. There's a lot of tokens.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3 tokens that would be
really good. And I think
also, wouldn't it kill the Ravager?
It would. It would
if he had a Ratchet Bomb, he would kill everything except for the Splicer.
Would be excellent right here. Yeah. I mean, the Splicer would end up potting into probably another Huntmaster, but.
Sure.
Oh
no!
Wow, we didn't even see that either.
I didn't see it either, but I took it for granted. So
completely missed the fact that he should have two tokens in the play.
Forgot his Worm Coil trigger, and under the current rules for competitive level events, you cannot go back and do that. So he just doesn't get the worm tokens from when it died.
And oddly, we totally weren't paying attention to it.
No,
I mean, I was focused on the Buried Ruin.
Me too. And I always just wait for the tokens to show up. Like sometimes it takes a second on coverage for them to be like, hey, do you have a Joey token?
Yeah.
You know, we're all out of Big Head Joe tokens or whatever. But like, it was actually just missed. Oh man, that's a big one. That's huge here.
I mean, it could be very huge.
That's 3 life swing plus like eating creatures, trading stuff. Like that was big.
Well, he's got to move past it, like you said about Zame accidentally throwing away a golden token earlier.
Right. It's one of those things that you have to gather yourself. There's nothing that you can do now. No, that does not go in your yard. Needs another dice.
I'm sitting here going, all right, so he's got a Buried Ruin back to Worm Coil, right? Like I'm looking for that and not even noticing that the tokens didn't show up.
I'm sure he was too.
All right. Well, he cast Worm Coil, cast Solemn Simulacrum. Passes back. Obviously, 2 spells cast. Huntmaster flips
that is
back.
just a shame.
Gets him another wolf. And gains 2 life.
I mean, at this point, like, Phillip, he's going to need to hit a sweeper. Like, we know he can take care of all the wolves with the. He decided to play a Solemn instead.
No, did he also forget to gain 2 off the Pristine Talisman? Because he was at 12 at the during that turn earlier, you know, before he cast the Simulacrum and the Worm Coil.
I didn't see it.
I'm just saying I don't see any reason why he would have taken 2 damage after gaining 2 life.
No, because the Huntmaster was transforming back the other direction.
Unless unless I was looking at the 12 and then the Huntmaster flipping. Yeah, it was the Huntmaster flipping probably knocked him to 10. He gained 2 off the talismans. That actually makes more sense. I think that's what happened. It was just 12 at the beginning of last turn, and I didn't notice when it went to 10 and back to 12.
Does he have another 5 left in his deck?
Geist Honored Monks, we haven't seen those yet. And that is not what he gets. He's got Wolfear Silverheart.
So he's got a couple of other options.
Oh yeah, see those are all on the board here. Apparently he's moved them in.
3 Wolfear Silverhearts, another Zell's Conscripts, There's also 3 Bonfire of the Damned. I don't know if those would come in against Phil. I don't think I would bring those in. They're not particularly good. All right, so the Golem, which is already a 4/4 with first strike, now gets +4/+4. So he has 2 8/8s, and he hasn't activated his township yet. All right, so he's going to send in with that huge
It's
one.
like 8/8 golem. Is it just
so
that?
this is just an easy chump block with the
you
solemn,
chump with
right?
the solemn, right? Yeah.
You get a card out of the deal as well.
Fine. Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of crazy what we're looking at here, because like if Phil does pull a Black Sun Zenith, he can like still wipe the board, even though
he's
his
got a
opponent's gonna have
sever still in a
9/9s.
yard. He's still So I mean, he has the option to or the opportunity to clear a lot the wolves at least.
Yeah, I think you
Or
just have
the
to take the
golem.
wolves, because on the next turn they're going to be like what 4/4. They're going to be 4/4/5/5s. Yeah, you can't have 3/5/5s or 2/5/5s and a 4/4 steering you down.
So didn't quite catch it. Make sure he drew off that solemn, but I assume he did Grave
Okay,
Titan.
there's a Grave Titan, so that helps. That's a start.
Count it up. Trying to figure out if you can. Yeah, it's like, can he flashback Sever and cast
Yes,
Grave Titan
he has
here?
14 mana.
Yeah, that is
Yeah,
awesome.
he'll have a mana left over.
That is ridiculous.
No sweat.
Wow. And this is game 2.
Yes. Now there's no clock on these games, right?
No clock.
So that is not an issue here. Okay, sure. Grave Titan, trigger. You remember that one.
That's good.
You know, it's a 2 tokens trigger, so maybe not his strength here, but okay, we have a Karn as well. So it looks like Karn's going to come down. What does Karn hit here? Birthing Pod?
Or Golem? Or maybe,
I don't think I'd kill the Golem.
I think the pod's
the
way
long-term
more
plan, but if he's
dangerous,
worried about the immediate board state, you know, then he can take out like the Wolf or Silverheart or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, you can. The problem is he's probably thinking, do I just lose Karn here? Like, but no,
Well, he can't. He's not going to lose Karn.
No, he takes out the birthing pod just to stop those shenanigans.
Yeah, I mean,
right away.
Dustin has 2 Gavany townships here, so it's not like you can shut him off of that plan either.
Yeah, I mean, you can use zombies to chump Silverheart and Golem.
Yeah, he can gain life. Like
he's actually in
Dustin does
reasonable
not
shape
have
right
great attacks now.
Yeah, I hope he's not thinking of attacking here. I think at this point you need to just.
Oh, with the Worm Coil, you mean?
Yeah, that's about the only thing he
would
could
put him
attack
back
with,
up
right?
to 20. I mean.
Yeah, but I like the keeping it on defense for right now.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know that I hate the attack. Like, I think you'd probably rather just sever away though before you attacked. All right, so he is going to plus Karn. I like that.
Huh.
I think that's fine.
I think
Right?
I'd get rid of the birthing pod because that's scary.
I mean, the birthing pod makes me nervous, but like I'm looking at the list. Like, what can Dustin do at this point? Like, he can just make more guys. Like,
yeah, what does he have access
Karn
to as
is
far
going
as
to
like
restart
trample?
this game. Like,
Yeah, we may
you
actually
thought
see
this was game 2. We
we're
might
gonna have
another
the game 2 part
coming.
2.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is.
How many game 2s do you want to see? This game state though has gotten pretty out of control, and I think that a lot of players kind of zone out when you see this many creatures and this many interactions on one game state. It's like, I don't know.
So what's the situation here? Did he? What?
He exiled the card from his hand.
Okay. I'm just kind of. He just untapped Dustin's birthing pod.
Yeah.
But why is the golem tapped then?
Oh, I don't know why the golem's
Okay, I'm just trying to figure out where we are.
Yeah,
in,
it was
in
just
Dustin's
stuck
turn.
underneath the thing,
Okay,
so I think he was just trying to be nice.
Okay, so yeah, it was the tapped golem that actually threw me off here. I'm like, what is he doing?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So Dustin has 7 dudes, and Phillip has 4. Dustin might be able to just crash in here. Although he can't get any life, and yeah, he'll die on the crackback actually if he doesn't kill Phil. This is a tough spot. All right, I want to know if these guys are coming at where they're coming here. Because what's going to happen is 2 of the wolves are able to trade for the Grave Titan and the Worm Coil engine. But Phil's at a virtual 20 life here if the block comes in.
So there, I was looking at Karn. I'm like, why didn't he put the dice on? I
a
realized there's a
little
tiny
dark one.
little dark one
Yeah,
that
I
blends
know.
right in with the art.
I know.
Like, what? Did I think? Does Karn come only in with like 2 counters? What's going on?
Yeah, no,
I thought he came in with
it's
6.
camouflaged. It's the same color. So
everybody
everybody's
at
attacking Karn. I mean,
Okay, I think does that
don't
just
you just let no, because birthing pod's going to lead to some untapped stuff. Except the
blade splicer's still around too.
Well, yeah, that thing's sitting back.
No reason really
This
to
seems
swing
like
with
a
it at
fine
this point.
spot. I mean, Karn's going to die, but you get to take out some of his guys, right? Well, you're not going to try to block everybody here. No, don't be silly. Okay, so Death Touch on the Wolfir Silverheart I can get behind. But Karn's gonna die. Like, you just...
You just gotta...
Like,
there's not a whole lot of reason to
Karn's
block.
only at 10. Like, 2 creatures need to get through to kill him. I mean, there's a couple of exceptions in here, but I don't see why you need to throw away zombies chumping to
Yeah,
the Karn's gonna die anyway.
He's got a 3/3 wolf, 2 4/4 wolves, and they're all gonna get bigger with the Gavity Township,
Right, and he can actually activate the townships twice.
Okay, so yeah, I mean...
I haven't, I don't have to do what Phil's has to do right here, but I can look at this board and figure that I don't think Karn can survive.
throwing his guys away?
I mean, they do have Death Touch, but, like, I do not want to trade a wolf.
For a Grave Titan?
Right, I don't want to do that.
Like, this is...
So that could be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It still kills him.
Yeah, that was not... I think you just take out the guys you can take out.
Yes.
Safely and just let Karn
the profitable
die.
blocks come through. You can trade off a few guys with your Death Touch, with your Worm Coil Engine if you want.
Right,
but
gain a
I
bunch
don't
of
see
life.
why we're just throwing away these zombies for no reason. They're just dying. Yes, that also trades. You just traded a wolf token for your
Grave Titan.
Grave Titan, and I just don't like that because, like, if Grave Titan gets to attack, it creates much more blockers. It can be a win condition. He's going to need to find a board sweeper, I think, at this point. Wait, is Karn at 1? 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I don't see why Karn's at 1. He was at 10, right?
He was at 10, yes.
6
plus the 4, yeah.
All right, maybe I did the math wrong, but as far as I know, the Pilgrim got in, that's 4, and the back wolf did with the 3 counters on it, that's 5. So that's 9. Oh, okay. So
I
he does
thought
get
something
to keep
else
Karn.
got in. Somehow.
Now,
okay.
unfortunately, though, I have to say
still
that
don't
even though Karn's alive, I don't think that's the right play because Karn, all he gets to do is exile 1 thing from his hand, and then he can just die next turn. Like, you can't exile a permanent with Karn if he's on 1. You know, I think Karn just dies there, and you just let him.
Yeah, there we go. That's better.
Look at you.
I was like, what are these gross golems sitting there with marker written on them?
Classy guy. Okay. So, that turn happened. There is enough mana here to use the birthing pod, although it would cost him 2 life.
He should be at 20, right? I mean, did he?
Yes, he should be at 20, and you can't forget that one.
Yeah, it just
that doesn't work that
happens,
way. Yeah. There's 20. So I'm assuming that Dustin's deciding if he wants to birthing pod here or not. I mean, I don't think that anything he could get is necessarily better than, like, the 4/4, the 5/5, the 4/4, the 7/7.
The stuff he already has because of Gavany Township, and making those guys so much better. Actually, better than a 1 casting cost up kind of creature.
Yeah, so Phil is still, it's funny because he's still in this position where he needs to dig. Now, unfortunately, Karn's been very marginalized. Like, I don't think that Dustin has any cards in hand, so Karn does kind of nothing here. Yeah. So, like, Karn just pluses for no value and then, like, is susceptible to being dead. Now, if Phil were to draw a board sweeper, right? Like, if he hits a Zenith here, now he's in a good spot. Like, now, I mean, Karn is happy.
He still has that Sever, right? He did not flash that Sever back.
He did not, so he can take out the wolves. He's got a blocker for 2 of the 3 creatures, but still they can get in and kill Karn. Like, if Dustin prioritizes killing Karn, he can kill Karn. 1 creature will get traded off for the Death Touch token. The other one will just eat the Joey token, and Karn will die as well. So it's like he definitely needs some action here.
Gristlebrand's just not as good as everybody thinks. Obviously. You know, he had it in. He drew 7 cards. Obviously, it's not good enough.
Oh, man.
Need more cards.
Maybe 4/4 Gristlebrand isn't the best.
So, Phillip plays another swamp. And
okay, he's casting something.
Yeah, is this going to be the
Sever?
flashback Sever?
Yeah,
maybe?
Sever, take out the wolves.
I mean, he doesn't seem to be going to the graveyard at this point. He just tapped a bunch of mana, gained some life. Okay, now he's going.
He is. Okay.
Sever.
So Sever the wolves. Do the wolves. Yeah, there we go. All right, so somehow there was no Restoration Angel involved in this.
Yeah, I
Sever
don't
the
even know how did
bloodline.
that possibly. I mean,
Yeah.
he's empty-handed and tapped out.
So now Phil has 1 card in hand. I don't know what it is. He's looking okay.
And
Again,
he's passing back.
if Dustin wants Karn to die, though, Karn will die.
Yeah, and I think at this
and
point,
I think he does.
if he just swings at everybody and swings everybody in at Karn, it's just like let Karn die.
You let Karn
you just
die,
let him
or
die.
you can death touch away something.
Yeah.
Like probably take out maybe the golem while you have the chance, because if it gets first strike later.
It has first strike now.
Oh, it does? Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, right, sorry.
So it's like not a great.
Then you don't do that. Well, there is a creature. Now, is this going to get birthing potted? No, it's just going to be a warm body to carry counters here. I'm assuming these are all going at Karn.
Yeah, we need to find out who he's attacking. But at this point, if
I'm
you have
sure
the
it's
opportunity to kill that Blade Splicer, I'd death touch that, right? Because the Blade Splicer doesn't have first strike.
That's right.
It is a 5/5.
It's also
Blade
the biggest
Splicer.
creature on the battlefield besides the golem.
Yeah. So they're all at Karn.
All right.
So I say go ahead and trade Death Touch for Blade Splicer. Get rid of that first strike crap. And let everybody else just kill Karn. It's fine.
Yeah, there's no chump. The chump block here doesn't accomplish anything except for gaining a couple of life, and that's just not that relevant here.
Yeah.
He can cash that in whenever he wants.
Yeah, that's not in front of the
Block. All right. He does the Joey Pasco blocking method here.
Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I think that's fine.
Yeah, and then let Karn go ahead and die.
I mean, I'm definitely interested in getting as many like actual creatures off the battlefield as possible, just because they're all pod targets. But
yeah, I mean, he just has a 1-of Karn. Is that right? Oh, he has
no,
3
he's
Karn.
got
Never
3
mind.
cards.
Okay, good.
Yeah, he's 3.
He's
he
just
might
a
even
one
have
of
another one in his
Gristlebrand.
hand. Yeah, 1 of Gristlebrand. Yeah. I mean, I guess he could have another Karn in his hand. That's one of the. I mean, because I'm trying to think of a spell that he couldn't cast.
Right, that he wouldn't want to cast. Yeah.
Yeah. There's a land, but it has to be a swamp in that case, because like you'd play everything else. Well, swamp or a cavern. It might just be that though.
Yeah. So Thalia comes down, resolves. Phillip draws a card. Can we see his hand? Is that Zenith?
That looks like a Zenith.
Pretty sure it's a Zenith.
Is that a Zenith?
No,
it's a bird rune, which is also quite fine here.
He's going to gain some life.
Yep, here we go again. All right.
And looks like Worm Coil coming back. Boom.
Grind. I mean, this deck can grind you out, right? I mean,
Yeah.
this thing has the long game. And it does feel like we're like...
Okay, so apparently that last card in his hand is Sphere of the Suns.
okay, he just doesn't want to run it out.
Yeah, there's no reason to.
There's really no reason to keep it in your hand either, I guess.
Well, I mean, you hold it back. Maybe he thinks it's thinks it's something relevant rather than not.
Sure. All right, so he activated the
Township.
Township once.
Thalia just a little bit bigger.
Yep. But she's already at 3 power. Get up to 5 this turn if he wants.
That golem is huge, but it's just a big dumb golem. No first strike or anything.
Yeah. Trade off for a worm, gain some life, go
Dustin,
back up to 30.
I believe, looking at his graveyard, has nothing in his hand, right? Because he, or is it just 1 card now in
He's
hand?
drawn it. I don't know if
He lost
already played it.
something to, he lost a card to Karn a little while ago.
Yeah, but he should have drawn a card this turn. All right, so he Is going to Birthing Part away Thalia here, so probably just going to get another Blade Splicer to get that first strike back online.
How many Blade Splicers are left at this point? It feels like he's had a
3 or 4
billion of them.
in the deck, right? He has 4 in the deck.
That feels like the 4th one. I mean, I know he blinked, with the Restoration Angel a couple times, so it's possible that that's why it feels like so many. So that's a giant.
It's an 8/8.
Yeah.
Can
Giant
also
8/8 first strike.
He can also activate his townships twice this turn. He could hit it for 10. Just take it. I mean, like, blocking doesn't gain you any life or do anything.
Yeah, it gains you 8. Pseudo gains you 8, right?
How does it gain you 8?
Because you don't take 8.
Oh. I thought you meant like actually gain you life.
No, sorry. No, it's just.
Look, you got to keep it simple. don't go over my head. All right, so he does decide just to chump block, though. No lifelink happens.
That's fine. I mean.
Yep. Draw a card for the turn. Looks like a swamp. And it looks like he's just going to have to pass the turn back here. I mean, it feels to me like it's just a matter of time before Phillip does draw, another sweeper.
Right.
But, he's going to get in?
He's going to go to 30 here.
This seems correct, right?
Yeah, I'm fine with this.
Because he shouldn't chump block, and he wants to make sure he gets the life gain here. Now, and if it gets traded off, sure.
Yeah.
Like he gets to kill a Golem token and either a Blade Splicer, so a Golem token and one of the other 2 creatures, or the Blade Splicer and the thing. Oh no, he still has his activation, so he can trade it off just for the
Pilgrim's a 5/5, right? Just the Pilgrim.
Yeah, but he still has his activations up for the township, so he can just trade it if he wants, 1 for 1 for it. But I mean, he gains the 6 life that way. Now, obviously, Dustin isn't interested in making that trade because that Pilgrim represents more than what the life gain was on the crackback.
Yeah.
It's going to be a 5/5 right now. On end step, it's going to be a 7/7, and it can be a 9/9 on Dustin's turn. Yeah,
Here comes a Sphere.
You need to play those. I mean, like, it is now a Black Sun Zenith versus 2 Gavany Townships race. He needs to hit all of his lands. Like, I would play that land too. There's no combat situation here happening. Like, he can't, he's not representing Doomblade or something. It's just you might as well just keep hitting all your lands and stay ahead of what your opponent's doing, I think.
Yeah, how many Doomblades does he have? Because it would be nice for him to.
2 and 2 go for the throats.
Yeah, well, go for the throat doesn't deal with that Golem either.
Yeah.
So.
You mean the 9/9 Golem?
Yeah.
10/10 Golem?
Monstrous Golem.
It's going to be 11.
7, 8,
It could just be
10.
huge. Currently.
It's so big it takes longer to untap than everything else. It's the second time that Golem stayed tapped for like longer than everything else.
No, this isn't 32, is it?
Right, seriously.
Like, I'm starting to actually just count up
4,
how
5,
much it is.
6, 7, 8, 18, 25. I see 25, and that could be 29.
Well, now there's 2 activations pending. So it's 5, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
Oh, God.
12, let's see, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 32, 33. I think that's lethal. If he just activates both, I think it's 33, right?
The Golem, top Golem's 5 right now, right?
Yeah,
Bottom Golem is 10.
Okay.
Right?
Yep.
So that's 15.
Uh-huh.
Blade Splicer is 3.
Yep.
So that's 18.
Yep.
Right. Now we can't see.
Now I can't see. 18, and then that guy's 7, so that's
Right,
25. And then plus 2,
Plus
4,
8.
6, 8. 25, 33.
That's frightening.
I think that's game. Wow. Like, so as long as Dustin
Sees it.
So he sees it, but Phil does have a card in his hand. If it is Doomblade, then Dustin loses this game.
Right. So he's leaving 1 back. Oh wow.
So he's not
keeping the swamp was actually.
I guess keeping that swamp was turning out a lot better than I thought it was.
Well, just keeping that one.
I was prioritizing making sure that my mana was there for when I did hit my Zenith, but having that bluff card is huge
having that,
here.
like with his top card Zenith, he can still go land Zenith. right?
Well, yeah, but then if he has another land next turn,
Well, then just play land, and
like, I
then
want to make sure
eventually
I,
he.
like, play them all.
So but I'm
Just
saying
never
like
wanna
he's
get
only a
stuck with
land
one.
behind because if he draws top 6 another land, now he's got 2 lands.
And you're
Play
saying
one.
he plays one.
Yeah,
Okay,
and just
that's
always
fine.
hold one back.
Sure, that makes sense.
Actually, no reason why he couldn't just go land.
That is true.
The cool thing about lands, they have haste.
Indeed. So is a birthing pod happening here?
I think so.
He's going to make a worm coil engine? Wait a minute. I don't understand then. What was the problem? He was worried about getting his splicer doom-bladed and then he couldn't do this play?
Yeah, that seems really
Oh,
odd.
no, this was in his hand? I don't think he saw it. I don't think he saw it. Because
I'm not sure what everybody's laughing at, but
I don't know, but
he
there's
draws
a
the
doom
doom.
blade. He actually drew the doom
Oh
blade.
my god.
That's kind of fun. It could get interesting. I think he might just be dead anyway here, though.
Well, yeah, it's like. Oh, apparently this is what the laughter was about.
So Phil says, "Where's the rest of your deck?"
To Dustin, and Dustin's like, "You killed it all." I guess that's what happens when you play 9 Black Sun Zeniths in a game.
Yeah.
I'm just that was an exaggeration. It may not have been 9, but it may have been 8.
The history books will say 9.
All right.
All right, he's just going to pass the turn back. We're going to double activate. This should be enough to kill Phil. I think even with the.
So he'll go up to 20. He can go up to 22 here, and
yes. And he can take 1 creature off the board at instant speed. He can block another one.
Right. Is there no blade splicer? So there's no.
There's no first.
There's
strike,
no first strike here.
So that golem token would be getting blocked. But then, so Phil goes to 20.
He can doom blade
he takes
the biggest
4,
golem.
7, 8, 9. That's
okay, so
10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17.
I think
plus 8 is.
I think he's
25,
all right.
26, 27, 28.
I think what I'm saying is
he's
like.
Dead.
No, look. All right, because Worm Coil's going to block something.
Oh, right, and then he's going to
Doom Blade's going to doom something. So the 2 biggest, you take them off the board. You count the smallest ones. You've got an 8/8 and a 7/7, right?
Yeah.
So that's 15 plus how many activations of Gavany Township?
2 each.
2.
So that's 19. So he's at 1.
So
does Phil win?
Well, no, he's not at 19. I mean, he'll be at 3 because he's going to go to 22 because he can tap those pristine talismans.
You're right.
So
does Phil just win here then if Dustin can't follow up with anything?
If he remembers that there are 2, he gets 2 tokens off the Worm Coil engine. I mean, we saw him miss it before.
I mean, we did. Like, that's a legitimate
All right, so
thing.
He's
gain 2 life. Go to 16. Doomblade your Pilgrim, I guess.
Yeah, whatever's like the next biggest.
That thing's 11/11. So
yeah, that's the
Doomblade
next biggest. Yeah, so that's what he did.
Okay, so that comes off the table. He's going to take 9 plus 4 is 13 plus 6 is 19, and he's going to gain 6 in the transaction. He's going to have 2 worm tokens potentially, theoretically, and he's going to turn them sideways and win.
That's the way it looks to me. That's the way I think.
Now
it
there's
should
still a birthing
play out.
pod here, so if Dustin has viable targets. Oh, Dustin's got his own worm coil. He's gaining 10.
Oh, that's right, because of the Gavany.
Yeah,
so that's a worm coil.
So this swing keeps going back and forth.
Yeah.
Whee! Yeah, so the pod, though, I don't know if he has other targets. Like, he needs to have a 5.
What happened to the other tokens?
What other tokens?
The ones that should be there instead of the stupid golems that say life and death on
them. My God.
They're obviously sitting right there.
Are you happy?
There, yes, I'm happy.
I mean, clearly these are Phil's tokens that he brought. It says life on it.
I'm just saying, there are actual golems on the board. Do we really want to be getting confused with other golem tokens? Also, I am on one of those tokens.
And the other shoe falls. All right. All right, so what is happening now? 15, he's down to 3, and there is a pod here. He is searching through. Wait, how is he looking at his library? Did he pot away a token?
No, he's not. He's looking at his graveyard.
Oh, that was his graveyard.
I'm pretty sure it's his graveyard.
Sideboard and graveyard. Okay, so Dustin has 1 card in hand and a birthing pod active. So he can get a 5-drop or a 1-drop currently, and I think he just doesn't. This is important.
Yeah, it is. What is it? Is it a miracle? Entreat the angels.
Black did not get any miracle cards. 1, 2, 3, 4. Solemn Simulacrum. That's a fine draw.
I mean, it's a time.
It takes more time. It takes yet another swamp out of his deck, and it's a chump block against these huge, dumb monsters that he's facing.
Goes up to 5 from the talisman.
Goes up to 5 from the talismans. This match is insane.
Where's it? Does he use all his buried ruins at this point? How many buried? He's got 3. He's used at least 2.
At least 2, maybe all 3.
Mm-hmm.
But that draw step he's going to get off that solemn is a big deal. He's got 3 creatures. I don't really see how.
These are just going to be chumps, you know?
Yep. Because both of Dustin's creatures are lethal. I don't think you want Dustin to get the 2 worm tokens, so you just chump that one.
You know what?
And
In
trade
that
off
case,
with the golem with the death touch guy.
I think he should have attacked with the lifelinker.
Because you think he's just going to chump?
Because if he's just going to chump, he goes up to 8.
But that
gets
opens
in
up
for
to
3.
like conscripts.
Sure, but I mean, if he pays attention to his opponent's deck list, all conscripts are gone.
Okay.
I mean,
I'm
just
right.
saying.
I just don't know that that's actually the case here.
Right.
Like, I don't know if that attention has been paid.
Right. If he wasn't going to block with it, I mean, I guess it opens him up to. Does he have other haste guys? Is there? I mean,
there's a Strangleroot Geist, I believe.
Maybe he. I mean, it was just a 1, and he already dealt with that too. Again, it's
so
one
if he
of those
knew this information, I think he would have made the play that he made.
Or he may not have even been thinking about it. He's just like, I need to play defense entirely. So.
All right. So draw card trigger. He remembers it.
So that golem's finally gone.
It's finally gone. It had like 100 tokens or counters on it. All right. What did he draw? Oh, he hasn't even looked yet. Jeez, this guy has nerves of steel. Another birthing pod? Yep, another birthing pod. I don't think that's going to do much here. Like, I think that the targets that Dustin can get are very getting thin.
Yeah. Right,
we never did see a Geist Honored Monk. But yeah. All right, what is it? He gets to draw a card for the turn.
It's
a swamp.
Yeah, and he draws it, and it's a.
Oh, increasing ambition. Oh my God. So he can cast it right now, get whatever he needs to win. He can get another Karn, he can get a Black Sun Zenith, he can get a Doom Blade, like he can get whatever. I think he can flash it back this turn if he wants and just get any 3 cards he wants out of his entire library.
But he needs to be able to use those cards. He needs to live through to use this. I mean, Dustin is now at 25.
I'm not sure what he's getting.
You can zoom us out.
I do know that he has 2 pristine talismans.
We do know that he has 5 lands. Zoom us out. We're talking. Zoom us out.
Okay. Everybody calm down.
I don't think he realized we were talking to him. It's right. He's being distracted over there.
I mean, I like pristine talisman too.
It's nice.
Okay, so I don't know what he's gotten, but he's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. He has 13 mana left over.
Left over.
Yeah, so this is going to be Karn, I'm pretty sure. Okay, so it is Karn. Just exile the creature. Right?
I assume. Or did he just get like a Doom Blade or something?
No, he got a Karn.
Okay, you saw it. Okay.
Yeah, he for sure has a Karn.
Okay.
Yeah. And I would just exile that.
Yes.
Get that out of here.
Yeah.
And now you can attack. You go back up to 10.
Yeah. Attack. Please attack.
No. Karn's at 3. Karn's at 3.
Yeah, that would be awesome if Karn plussed to do that.
There we go.
Okay.
Okay. Now you attack. And you begin the long trail of grinding your opponent down with 1 3/3 lifelink Joey token. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. He has 6 mana, and he's just going to play that last land. He says, well, everything's here.
I was going to say I'm on the table in spirit, but I guess I'm on the table in worm. That was awful, wasn't
This
it?
is just. You notice how I didn't say anything?
That's
I was
why
trying to let you off gracefully, but
I don't mind saying stupid things.
I will also not say anything. I feel like, okay, it looks like Phillip's gonna be able to take this one down. Like he's looking through his graveyard, Dustin is, and he's like, I don't have anything left.
Yeah, even if I draw a
He has
creature,
double
what do I
birthing
look for?
pod. I mean, no creature, but
Double birthing pod doesn't do anything without a guy.
is Dustin allowed to look at his own deck list during this portion of the game? Like, can he actually, like, let's say he just goes, oh, do I have 2 of those or 3 of those? And, sometimes people throw their deck list together in the morning, and he might not know how many Geiston or monks or whatever he's running.
Yeah, it's funny. I love Aiden O'Connor on Twitter says, this game will be the first documented case of a mill win in this standard that includes no mill cards.
I think Phil's going to take this thing down before that.
Well, Aiden apparently wasn't watching earlier when the Blue-White Miracle player actually milled himself to death.
That's right, I forgot. All right, we just saw Increasing Ambition flashback, gain 2 life off the Pristine Talismans. He can go get any 2 cards now. He's going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 mana to do
whatever he wants,
needs to do with this. We know that his one and only Grizzlebrand is already dead, so that's not an option. But he can get a Wormcoil Engine. He can get a Grave Titan if he wants to end this game as quickly as possible. He can get a Black Sun Zenith to act as kind of a backup plan here.
Yeah, I'd probably go like something big to end the game,
Grave
and then
Titan
something as a backup
to
plan.
make sure that you didn't lose.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'd probably just go like, I don't know, Grave Titan Wormcoil. I mean,
That's-
like,
I mean,
how does Dustin overcome that?
You're right. I mean, I think I'm just trying to play a little conservative.
I agree.
You know,
I agree. Like, this is not the
saw
time
the
to get
situation,
impatient.
right? You saw the situation
Like
where
after
you were
this game. All right. So for some reason, Dustin didn't play his land and just let
Karn take
eat
it.
Yeah.
I mean, just the bluff. Does he need the land?
Well, but this game could get restarted. Like, I'm not saying it's going to happen, but I'm saying it is not impossible that this game gets restarted. And if that's the case, you do not want him starting with extra lands.
Up to 15, Dustin down to 19.
Okay,
Batterskull and Grave Titan.
Okay,
Okay,
so
that's fine. That's
gonna,
actually kind of hedging the bets.
It is, right? Because his life total is going to get insanely out of control. And he can cast both, right?
He said he needed 11. He had 11 left over?
I think he had 13 left over, but yeah.
Okay, either way, 11's enough.
Boom, boom. He's just going pedal to the metal. He's just saying, look, if you can deal with these things, then good luck, sir. Hey, a trigger.
This is a heck of a game.
This is insane. This game was so crazy that you actually lost coherence. Like, you're now subconsciously conscious.
Yeah, this is game 2.
This is game 2.
And
this
looks
has been
like we're going to see
insane
game 3.
game.
Apparently,
like, this is the game that Grizzlebrand came down on.
At some point, yeah.
It was a while back. All right, so I think that Dustin...
Grizzlebrand, I think, is now rotated out of standard.
Yeah, he might have. So right now, the scoop of the permanence. What a game!
No, we're going to game 3.
Yeah, yeah, that was game 2. We still have another one. A few of the people working the event here
that was Karn restarting the game.
It. So. Yeah.
Wow. Wow.
This guy showed up, but he didn't live that long.
Who lived
distributed
longer
a bunch
than
of cards?
Grizzlebrand? This guy that showed up.
Yeah, well, you're partially living. That was insane. That was one of the craziest games I've seen in a really long time. Like,
that was
I don't think
really,
I've seen, like, how much mana?
How many lands were on the table total at the end there? About 30, more than 30 lands on the table?
Like at least, because Dustin had 2 activations, so that's 10 plus like 4 or 5 random, and that's 15. And we saw Phil play 9 mana, 8 mana to flashback.
Right, and then
6
another
mana.
At least 11, yeah.
And then, so 6, so that's 8.
So 19.
14, and then 5 more is 19. So I think he had like one left after,
you're counting,
1 or 2 after.
Also counting spheres and pristine talismans.
And pristine talismans, yeah.
Whew, that was
mind blowing. Like those guys, this is going to be really crazy to see how this last game goes because they're going to be exhausted. Like they're going to be mentally spent. I know I am from watching it.
Yeah.
And like they were actually playing it, and we're over here like, hey, you don't have to block, and this doesn't, but they have to process this insane board state turn after turn after turn.
Yeah, that was. It's going to be interesting. I mean,
very difficult to not miss some things when you're sitting in that chair over there. And some things were missed. I mean, we missed a bunch. You know, it's just there's so much going on.
Do you think Phillip boarded in those ratchet bombs? Because if he didn't, I board them in now.
I would for sure board them in,
We
and I
saw
don't think
how
he did.
incredible.
I don't think he did.
I mean,
he has
he
two
saw
of
a lot
them,
of
right?
cards. Yeah.
Yeah, he has two. We didn't see any of them. We saw a good portion of his deck. I would assume that he did not bring them in, and I would bring them in. Yeah, I mean, just even one for one-ing with a golem or killing two golems is pretty nice.
Trying to figure out here if there's anything I would jump on if I were Dustin, as far as like now what he experienced there.
Yeah,
But
I mean, I think he's got to be careful. Like, I think his game plan is fairly solid. Like, he saw Grizzlebrand, but Grizzlebrand really isn't a huge part of this mono black deck, and he could overcompensate and be like, oh, I want to try to do all this stuff to prevent Grizzlebrand from happening. But really, like, his deck's built for that anyway. He's got Phyrexian Metamorph that he brought in that can just kill Grizzlebrand.
yeah,
He can steal him a couple times with Zealous Conscripts, and
which
just
we
draw
saw
cards.
right there. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I think that if we see Dustin get off to a quick start, like, you know, if he can like get some pressure going really quickly, and we don't see Phil like have a couple of Zeniths or a Zenith and a Sever or something like that, I think that Dustin can run him over. Now, if Phil can set up his board state, get a couple of sweepers or mass removal, you know, a 2-for-1 or like a 3-for-1 going, I think his deck just, I mean, it clearly just comes over the top. He was facing down like 30-something power.
Yeah, and
You know?
yeah,
And he just like, well, we'll just get this back
I'll
and
block
do this
this,
again,
kill this
do
guy,
again, and
take-
do yeah.
you know, he took, I believe, what 18 damage in one turn.
And he's like,
went from 32
sure.
to
And he was at
32 to 14
4
or something.
or something. Like, I mean, his deck can come back.
Yeah.
Like, it's designed to get to the brink
Got
and
a
then come
ton
back.
of lifelink and life gain in general.
Yes.
I have not yet seen him play a Liliana the Veil. Now, not that he necessarily even had it in there in
would
game
take
2.
it
I
out.
don't think I would take it out too. Like,
Yeah, like once somebody
just
plays
saying
a
I haven't
Blade
seen him
Slicer,
play.
it's out.
Yeah, it's,
For me, yeah.
I agree.
But that Ratchet Bomb has to come in. It's
Wait, how do you-
only out for Birthing Pod, and it kills a lot of the tokens out there too.
I feel like I don't know how I feel about the Severs, but then again, I guess it depends on what is replacing it, because you do, like, I love the fact that it's 2 removal spells in one, and it often hits, you know,
Multiple creatures.
guys. It's very Maelstrom Pulsey, but man, did he
Yes.
get blown out twice with Restoration Angel.
He did.
You know,
and I mean, I think it was poor choices that he made about what he targeted. I mean, I can see why he did it, but he opened himself up to that blowout. If he would have just gone for a token, he would have for sure been able to kill a token.
kill
or two.
something, yeah.
Yeah, and you know, and like the Blade Splicer itself, you know, if he has Restoration Angel, it's getting blinked anyway. Like, you can't prevent that.
Right.
Like, you can do it while he's tapped out or doesn't have enough mana to Restoration Angel. That's okay.
Yeah.
But I think you just need to get those golems off the table.
Yeah, I wonder what he's. I mean, we obviously we saw plenty of Zeniths.
Yeah.
I wonder about Curse of Death Soul, and I don't think it's as good here. So I don't
No,
think
it doesn't seem
it's
bad,
like
though.
right, because you're like, if he doesn't, like, Blade Splicer just dies. Like, it just
instant
completely,
dies. It's just
and then
it's just a 2/2.
yeah, and then
Okay.
you know, you see the birds and the pilgrims just
The
die.
pilgrims just die.
Thalia dead.
Thalia just dies.
Strangleroot Geist undies, but undies into a 2/1.
That's a big one. The Geistnaughter Monk tokens insta-die. If the Geistnaughter Monk's your only creature, it dies too, right? Like,
Yeah.
because normally it's a 3/3 with 2 1/1s, but if you have a curse out, it kills the 1/1s, and then it's also, looks like we have a mulligan. Are we going to go back down to the
Yeah, we're gonna go back to
feature?
the match, but yeah, if they're mulliganing, it's not as big of a deal. We can wait. But yeah, Phil apparently mulliganing to 6. Now we saw him mulligan to Oblivion
4? Yeah.
game 1, and just he couldn't get into that game at all.
No.
I wonder if he would have been better off keeping his 7 or 6. You know, once you started seeing him go to no lander 5, no lander 4, and then
This deck's interesting in that way. It has the ability to generate card advantage, to gain cards, and to grind your opponent, but it doesn't have it in the way that, like, you and I are used to with playing blue decks,
Right.
where you play a spell that just nets you cards.
Yeah.
This actually gets it through his removal, which is like you were mentioning, it's a Sever the Bloodline or sweeping the board with the Black Sun Zenith, or it gets it through like a card like Buried Ruin, or a card like, and this is what we saw in this last game, Wormcoil Engine and Buried Ruin. I mean, it's just like they just can't keep up with what you're doing. And But what that means is that he still needs the base cards to set up that situation
Exactly.
where he
So
has
he's
the mana to do it. It can't recover quite the same way that we're used to.
Okay.
Right.
Apparently he
Addison's
kept his
Pilgrim.
6, and Pilgrim on 1 for Dustin, and Phillip is going to lead. He does have Ratchet Bomb, by the way. I'm pretty sure I see it in his hand right there.
He does. That is a Ratchet Bomb.
Okay, that's good news for Phillip fans.
Indeed.
He has
Fans of the
Karn in
monoblack.
his hand,
This
I
is
believe.
also good news for him. He's being attacked instead of having a 3-drop played on him.
Yeah, so
No
turn
mana?
2.
Is there a land coming down?
Dustin,
There
okay,
is.
does have a land. Okay, so this is reminiscent of Game 2, where Dustin's start was just accelerators and
Yeah.
no fancy action.
And if there was anything in the birthing pod to Blade Splicer range, that would have come down. So we're going to see the Ratchet Bomb. I think he's going to tick it up and just going to blow it and kill these 2 1-drops.
And another nice interaction with Buried Ruin.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Good one. That's
I mean,
true.
he can just
Especially with
reuse
the
it.
amount of tokens that Dustin's deck can put out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Recycling a Ratchet Bomb is marginal usually, but I think here it's going to be actually quite good.
Yeah, so
1, 2, 3,
3,
4, 5.
4, 5.
This is going
Dustin
to be
plays
yep,
Wolfir
Wolfir
Silverheart.
Silverheart. That's not going to do much here though. Like, it's going to be paired up, but
It's going to lose.
It's going to unpair.
Yeah,
But
gonna,
then when it comes back, we're going to need to see a Doomblade or something from Phil to
Yeah.
be able to deal with that.
well, he can potentially go ahead and just crack the bomb and.
Oh, he can
do-
wait. Oh, there's a
He doesn't
Doomblade off the top.
right,
Right,
look
okay.
at that.
But no, what he's going to do is he's going to wait till his turn because Dustin that way can't repair and then attack.
Right. No, yeah, that's
know
cool.
what I mean?
I just mean like here he now has the option to crack
Yes.
the bomb.
Yeah, and he
And-
can actually do it to
Or he just says, I don't.
okay, well now you just, I guess, just crack the bomb. That takes him off of the mana. There is upside to that. Like I think it's probably correct to just say you don't get the mana. You know, you don't have 5 mana anymore. You have 3 now.
Yeah, I like that
No
actually.
red?
Yeah.
Cuts him
Now
off
he
of-
goes cavern
All
names.
right, so this is going to be a
Well, we're gonna find out names
Thalia.
human then, I guess.
yeah, name's human, has to in that case.
Thalia
Now
comes
we
down.
do note that Phil is stuck on 2 mana, so he's really hoping for a land here. I think he probably has a Pristine Talisman.
Oh, Spellskite.
comes down, but that's not going to do much here. And he couldn't cast a Talisman anyway because of Thalia, so he's going to fall behind pretty sharply here if he doesn't start hitting land drop after land drop. Again, this is a lot like Game 1. Remember Thalia came down
similar,
as well?
yeah, very similar to Game 1.
Yeah, where Phil was stuck on mana and is just going to get buried here if he can't either kill Thalia or just hit some lands here. He's going to attack with both. All right, this second cavern is named Wolf. We're going to see a block here.
Yeah,
Pump it
birds are
up.
gonna get in for 1.
Yeah, birds get in for 1.
And Thalia, 3/1 first strike doesn't kill the Spellskite.
Or 3/2.
Just yeah, I'm sorry, 3/2. Yeah,
Yep.
doesn't quite kill the Spellskite.
All right, so land. That looks like a go for the throat, maybe.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not a land. Now that's a fine spell to have in his hand because it will kill the Thalia once he does hit a land, but he hasn't been able to hit one yet. Now Dustin isn't really capitalizing here, right? I mean, he's not just like burying Phil, but like he certainly has an advantageous board state currently, and it looks like he's just going to have to keep dumping mana into that Gavany Township.
Yeah, it's amazing. Like
Block it.
Phil plays 25 lands, which seems like enough, especially when you play 4 Talisman, 4 Spirit of the Suns.
Yeah, it's
and,
enough.
And it just seems like he's now had 2 games just here in this match.
No, it's
where
not that
he's
it seems like he
stalled.
just has.
Yeah.
But that happens. I mean, it's normal. Hopefully, he'll be able to pull out of it and we'll get a game out of this thing. Right? He is just going to chunk block here. It also, encourages Dustin to just use his township, but apparently he has nothing else going on anyway. So if we see a land here, then Thalia bites it, and he's in a much better spot.
Yeah. So draws. It's apparently not land. No,
It is
it's
a Pristine Talisman, which is really awful here because he can't even cast that for 2 more turns. Says go. Well, that's a shame, but he's still alive.
Yeah.
He is facing down a lot of power now, though.
He's gonna drop a 10 here. 10
he,
or
he could
8.
he could be taking 8 damage here on this turn.
Absent Pilgrim from Dustin.
Attack and then use the township, and this just looks like kind of like a limited game where the township is really taking over here.
I think it's the fact that Phillip's not drawing lands that's really taking over here, because I feel like Phillip would totally be in this game. It's just, what is he supposed to do? His deck's not giving him lands. He really just can't play. And
He's
again, he draws
for the throw.
A card that he can't cast.
Yeah,
and,
well, I mean, this is Thalia as well. Like, if Thalia's not on the table, then he's killed a whole bunch of stuff, and he's just going to scoop it up, and Dustin is going to advance to the semifinals. Phil had a great run there.
Yeah, that was really unfortunate, and you know, I wanted to watch people play Magic.
Did he have another Spell Skite in his hand?
Might
have played that.
No, yeah, I didn't even see it, but wow.
Well, that was a really good run for that.